Hey, and welcome to Dad Casual, where full-time dads and casual gamers come together to discuss everything we love about the games we wish we had more time to play. Thanks for being here. Woo, man, it has been a little bit, but Dad Casual is back, baby, with episode 37. We have so much to talk about, so much to catch up on. Um, like, for instance, all things Summer Games Fest, from Geoff Keighley's presentation, Ubi Forward, Sony Playstation Showcase, Xbox Game Showcase, the STARFIELD Direct, and of course our predictions on an upcoming Nintendo Direct tomorrow that was announced today. So yeah, let's get right into it. As usual, we have the Dad Casual crew with Andy Bond
Hey, what's up?
and Preston Jensen.
I am here.
Guys, welcome back. I know we don't have like a ton of listeners, but for the ones that are dedicated and we do hear from every week, we are sorry we have missed you guys, and we are back. We just, I don't know, we're dads. We have full-time jobs. We have families. Like, I think it's okay that we can be a little lax on the schedule, but we do want to
Yeah.
continue to bring you content and stuff. But yeah, we've just had a lot of work stuff pop up, a lot of life stuff pop up. But yeah, it's good to be back. So
Yeah, I
Andy,
mean, I think the whole premise from the beginning was that this is casual, and it's not just casual from a listener standpoint. I know Preston jokes around with me that sometimes I'm not that casual of a gamer, but yes, I am. Like, I may have seasons where we get to play a lot and we're recording podcasts every week, like on time, but then like we all have those seasons. It's tough, man. But I'm glad that we're still going strong, you know?
yeah. Preston, how you doing, man? We can talk about games in a sec, but how have you been?
Yeah, good man. Father's Day was last weekend. Was that
Oh
right?
Yeah.
yeah, happy
Yeah.
Father's Day to
Yeah.
you
Father's Day
guys
to all the
and everybody else
dads.
listening. Yeah, all of our true casual dads.
This is
Yeah.
our Father's Day gift to you.
A new episode. There you go.
There you go.
Nice and late.
So yeah, we Father's Day was nice and chill. Rhett and Christine got me a new Apple Watch because I shattered my old one.
Ooh.
We have been just moving along. Work's been busy. Good busy.
So busy. So
Yeah,
busy.
So busy. Just slammed. The gaming, actually, I've been able to. Christine and I have got a little system down, and right now it changes, obviously, and I think everybody's different. So this is not this works for everybody, but we kind of do our thing for in the morning, get Rhett to school, daycare, whatever it is, and then do our work. Christine and I try and have lunch together. Pick up the boy after work and get him to bed. You know, all the normal routine stuff. But then we have, like, this is a weird word, but separated, done our own things at night.
Yeah,
And
not
then,
the right word.
Yeah. And then about 9 or 10 o'clock, come back, watch a few episodes of TV, and then hit the hay. And that's been amazing for both of us lately to have like independent, just by ourselves time where we can do what we want, whether that's surfing Instagram, playing a video game, or surfing the web or whatever.
Yeah, I can definitely echo that. Me time is very important, and Kristen and I do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's most nights. I mean, she goes to bed earlier than me by like 2 or 3 hours, usually most nights, and so like that's
Mhm.
like we kind of hang out for a little bit. We watch TV, we eat dinner, do the whole thing, hang out, and then usually she goes to bed, and then I'm either doing some freelance work or I am playing some
Yeah.
games or doing this.
Yeah.
So yeah, me time's totally healthy, totally like a good thing to kind of be your own person to, as you said, separate for a second.
Yeah.
I like that. I think it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a balance because like you can overdo that, and
Yep.
then you're like before you realize it, you've neglected time with your spouse or a kid,
Yep.
or especially when you have more than one kid. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I made a night for this kid, just me and him, but the other two, like,
Yep.
it's just, man, time is the real limited resource.
Yeah.
It's just
I literally told Christine today, I was finishing up some work and I was like, oh my gosh, it's 4 o'clock. I got to go get Rhett. I was like, I need like 6 more hours just to like burn through some work and be done. And then,
Yeah.
but life,
Six
man.
more hours in every day would be nice.
Yep.
All right, well let's get right into it. So before we hit our news for the day, I want to talk about what we've been playing. Let's kind of keep it short, maybe like 1-2 minutes each, and then because we have so much news to get through, and then maybe let's do some more dad talk at the end so we can kind of catch up a little bit more on everybody's lives.
It's tough because with the time we've taken off, we could actually just do a whole episode on what we've been playing.
Right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I think we have time for that because there's been some really cool ones coming out that we can do formal reviews on now because we played so much.
Yep.
But let's get a little taste of that. Andy, what have you been playing? Give me like 1 minute.
Yeah, so I mean, just real quick for me, I did play a little bit since our last podcast. I got quite a bit farther in Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Still love it. It is fantastic. It is definitely like that action RPG of the year for me. But Diablo came out. I talked about it a lot leading up to it. I played both betas, and ironically, I probably still I just haven't had enough time to put into it. And I want to give a full review, and I think just 2 minutes isn't time for that. And I think so. Give me until maybe next week. I could probably give at least a casual review, right? But in short, my feedback from Diablo is it is the best Diablo since Diablo 2 and is just so like comfort food. Like it's one of those games that I feel like even if we played other games, like I feel like Preston, maybe Fortnite is that for you, or like you know what I mean? Like, hey, I may play this game, I may do this, but then at the end of the night, I'm gonna wrap it up with I'm gonna run a few dungeons, I'm gonna do this. There's always something to do, and it's so massive, and all the classes are so fun, and I just really enjoy it. I think like the different builds and the different things, and I don't know. I've been having a great time with it. I played a rogue, and I think the slower pace of the combat makes it a little more strategic. Like it's less like walk into a room and just immediately blow everything up, or like it's not as much a power fantasy. Like you do get very powerful, but there is still like there's a difficulty to it now. Games without any difficulty, those are boring. And I think that's
Agreed.
what Diablo 3 was maybe a little too just like you could just press X and destroy everything in the room.
Yeah.
Which
It's fun at times. Yeah.
Even in Diablo 4, I've gotten to the point where I got that, but then I played a few more levels, got to the next boss, got to the next area, and I was like, oh God, like it's hard again.
Right.
So real quick, what level are you?
30, I think.
Okay, cool. So not quite to your first Paragon yet.
No, 50 is where the Paragon levels begin. And level 100 is the level the level cap
For now. Yeah.
So and you can't even go beyond 50, I believe, until you do like they have a capstone dungeon that you have to beat to then go beyond that.
That's cool.
So,
I love the way Diablo is structured. So that's I'm interested about hearing more about that.
yeah, and the level scaling. I'm sorry, I'm not going to talk too long about it, but like some people hate it, some people like it. I actually like it. I think if you don't have level scaling, and what I mean by that is the enemies, no matter how powerful you get, continue to scale with you. So for some people, they feel like getting more powerful is pointless. Like the vibe is like, I got all these cool items, I got more powerful, and still everything's just as hard. And I'm like, yeah, by stats, that's true. But the abilities that your equipment and gear gave you, like now you can do extra moves, you can do an extra dash. Like it does empower you to be better at surviving and but again, it's like I said, you don't just destroy everything automatically. And some people are, and they're balancing a lot right now too. Like obviously it's the first 2 weeks of the game coming out. So some people are getting frustrated. They were really powerful, and then Blizzard came in and like adjusted their build and made a broken druid build not as powerful anymore. But
yeah, that's always tricky to balance that. But let's go ahead and put a little pin in that. No, you're good. You're good. I love the passion. Let's put a pin in that. So has there been anything else you've been playing?
The only other things is my kids have been playing. So it's worth a mention.
Nice.
Noah is finally at an age, and Riley too. They've started like exploring the PlayStation Plus libraries. And being like, so like now they're into like, oh, I want to try this game, I want to try that game. I've been wanting to do that forever, and they were like, no, Minecraft only. And I'm like, oh, God, life is more than Minecraft and Fortnite. So
But is it? I'm just
Riley downloaded a game. He's my 6-year-old called Park Beyond. Park Beyond. Yes, is that what it is called? I think I wrote
That's
it
what
down.
you wrote down. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but like a next gen, new gen style. Really cool game. Very intricate, but he just goes into the sandbox mode, and like he likes Minecraft because of the sandbox mode that he can do whatever he wants. And so in sandbox mode, you have unlimited money. You can build any ride any way you want.
For sure.
And it's just cool. But you can even see in sandbox like, oh man, you can really run this
Yeah.
off of like you can change the prices of everything, including the rides, or how much does a drink cost, or do you charge for bathrooms? Are bathrooms free? Are you? And then all the pavement, all the things cost money to build and run, and you have to hire staff and choose what to pay that staff. And like, if you wanted to go sim based, it seemed. I was like, I don't know if I want that, but he liked that. And then Noah, my 9-year-old, started playing FIFA 22, which I thought was really funny. I'm not much even of a. I like the arcadey sports games. Like I'll play NBA Street or NBA Jam any day.
right.
But I'm not really into like NBA 2K or FIFA 22. But
Yeah.
he I don't know. I think some kids at school are motivating him to be more into sports.
It's kind of fun though.
Oh yeah. Oh, like he's really into baseball now, out of nowhere. It's crazy. So
It is.
that's
The
happens
LSU
with
Tigers
kids.
did win at the World Series today. So
good because they lost the other night.
Yep.
It's a double elim too. So like if
We're
they
in the-
lose one more, it's over.
We're in the top 4 now.
Ew.
Go
you
Tigers.
Go
Nice.
Tigers. We just
All right.
lost so many fans from Alabama. Just kidding.
All of them.
And guess what? We
Good
don't want
riddance.
you. Get out of here. You go home.
All right. All right.
They don't even have internet there, do they?
Dang.
Gosh. Preston, what have
Yeah.
you been playing?
So a lot of Fortnite, just a night, an hour or so. Right before this, though, I played the Airforia collab, the Nike Fortnite collab.
Yeah, you're telling me a little bit about,
Which
about that just before
Pretty
this.
awesome. I'm gonna pull it up.
I was like, I don't know what that is.
Did they bring back their old mascot?
Look at that, bro. The Air
Oh,
Max
that's a different
mascot.
guy.
Yeah.
What was
So-
the one from the 90s?
Those were Nike shoe boxes. That was amazing.
Yeah, the whole city is that. Like you're in different
Oh, it's
shoes.
a custom level. Just
Yes.
it's kind of like we talked about Royal Caribbean did one.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
See, I want to see them bring back the Nike superhero from the 90s called Swoosh.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yep.
Yeah, they need to bring back that guy or just make him a skin in this game. That'd be a heck of a return for that.
Well, yeah, that'd be insane. So the cool thing about this is you get Nike like stuff if you play the level. So
Like virtual stuff or real stuff?
virtual stuff.
Oh,
you're
okay.
you're
That'd
like,
be kinda
wait a
cool.
second.
Like you play enough, you get like a pair of shoes or a discount on a pair of shoes. That'd be kind
Yeah.
of cool.
Yeah. And then after I beat the level, it had the got 'em. That's what.
Oh,
How
nice.
it ends.
The sneakers
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. So that's cool.
That's cool.
Another game I've been playing. I
Shout
don't
out
know.
Ryan and Shoe Podcast. Just saying.
Yes. Yep.
Collab needs to happen.
We love Ryan. I mean, a video game Fortnite and Nike can do it. Dad Casual and them can do it.
And
right?
Shoe Podcast.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
bring
they
it.
have to.
Hit us up.
They already have.
Yeah, they have. The other thing I played recently, and it was because a person Andy and I were working with the other night said something about it, is I hopped back onto GTA 5 Online. So,
Whoa.
yeah.
Tell us about that.
That's pretty fun. I feel so old in there because I haven't played in so long. And I'm
I mean,
just
to be fair, that game is pretty old now.
yeah. Lobbies are still full. Just
Oh,
slammed.
I'm sure.
So, yeah, it was fun. I don't have a lot of money right now, so not able to do a lot. But yeah, I forgot that game. This may be a little dark, but I forgot that game has suicide in it.
Oh, good lord!
It costs
Just like as a character option.
yeah, and you have to pay $500 to commit suicide. And
Oh my god.
yeah,
Well, I mean, GTA is not exactly the most family-friendly franchise. So
it is not. But yeah, so
fair
what
warning to
about you?
parents out there.
Yeah.
Yes, so I'll be quick. So I played and finished, I think, since the last time we recorded The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh my gosh.
I put 75 plus hours into that game in the past month and a half.
Oh,
Hey.
okay. So next week we needed to take a minute and
Are you
let you give us
are you okay,
a-
bro?
I'm more than okay. That game was fantastic. And because it's Switch, like I was able to take it on a road. Like we went to our some relatives over the weekend one time, and like I didn't really have any other responsibilities except to just like keep my daughter alive.
Right.
So it was that and play Tears of the Kingdom. And so I got a bunch of hours in there, and then it was just like 1 or 2 hours a night
Mm-hmm.
for like 10 nights in a row or something like that.
Yeah. I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Give us your
Quick.
Cliff Notes of Cliff Notes.
Cliff Notes
What
is
do you
Cliff
got?
Notes. It is a lot more of the same plus more. And with Breath of the Wild being my number one game of all time, this definitely didn't disappoint.
Mm-hmm.
They expounded on the game in all of the right ways. They perfected what could be perfected. The story was better. There's more things to do. The map is over twice as big. It's ridiculous. It's such a crazy like addition to what was already like a nearly perfect game formula, in my opinion. It's not perfect, and neither was Breath of the Wild, but I think that it is a well-deserved 10. I think it's kind of like the God of War thing, where Ragnarok improved on God of War 2018,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know if this is actually going to top Breath of the Wild for me,
Whoa.
I was
just
gonna
because
ask that.
Breath of the Wild was so novel
Yeah.
and still is.
Yeah.
There's also something to be said about, and I don't know if this applies to Zelda, but it did for me with God of War, where I was like, the first God of War was it just because it was tighter. You know what I mean? Like there was just so much more in Ragnarok, and there's some storylines that I thought like I didn't like necessarily, but like
It's not the same here. So the story is actually better, in my opinion. I think it is more succinctly told. There's less fluff. It's more gripping. There's more of like a sense of peril at hand, which I like. It's darker for sure. Yeah, it's more emotionally kind of tuggy as well, which I really enjoyed. Very, very kind of like, pretty classic Zelda formula. I mean, it's like Zelda gets captured by Ganon and all this yada yada yada. You have to go fight Ganon, all that kind of thing. That's not really a spoiler because that's literally every Zelda game. But they take some really crazy twists and turns in there that I was not expecting, and really great boss fights. Yeah, it's really really good. So I think I need to let it kind of like sit with me a little bit more to like make a true ranking on my top 100 list. But it was really really good.
cool.
Yeah, that was fun. Can't wait to talk about it more. I'll give a full proper review on a future episode, probably the next one. But yeah, in addition to that, actually tomorrow at 11 p.m. our time, Final Fantasy 16 releases, and I have it pre-ordered. So I'm really excited about that. And they did release a roughly 3-hour demo this past week that I played. And when I say that is the best demo of any game I've ever played, like I'm not lying. Like you say
Ever.
you really like
All right, I'm
Jedi
gonna have-
Survivor
Ever?
as action RPG or action game of the year. This one could probably top it
Oh well, it doesn't come out. Oh no, it does come out this year. What am I talking about?
Comes
Yeah.
out tomorrow, right?
tomorrow. That's what I'm saying.
Whoa.
That's what you
You
just
missed
said.
it. I think Andy
Pay
was looking at.
attention.
He was trying to skip ahead.
No, I've been trying to in my mind think about all the games because it's just so many games have been announced, and I'm like, I don't want to
Yeah.
forget the ones that I was really excited about.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about.
I'll download that demo. In fact, I'll download that demo right now.
Do it, dude. It's so good. But yeah, I won't spoil it for anybody. If you're into Final Fantasy, this is great. It's an action game this time around, but it is still at its core Final Fantasy. There's summons and spells and brooding protagonists and all the good stuff.
The same way that Final Fantasy VII Remake was part action, part RPG.
No, this is more.
turn-based?
This is almost Devil May Cry actiony.
Okay.
It's leaning even more towards action. There are some RPG elements, but it is mostly action.
Demo free. Boom. Select. Add to library.
It's so good. The story is incredible. Voice acting is incredible.
I think the return to being a little bit more fantasy is appealing to me.
It
as
is
opposed-
true medieval Game of Thrones dark fantasy.
I'm into that.
Can't wait.
What I'm into.
Yeah, they really said they pulled a lot of inspiration from Game of Thrones for the story, which I thought was kind of cool.
Ooh. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it shows too. All right, on to news. So we do need to like figure out our like transition music, whatever that's going to be, to kind of set the tone. So just imagine that happening right now. We're going to go into our news topics.
Boop.
Perfect, thank you. Leaving all of this in, recording it as ringtones. the
Yes.
whole
Can we just some of the there's other podcasts that do that too, but one of us just mouths it.
Yes, perfect.
But we could still have an animated graphic. Like something could be going up, but in the background we're going.
Yes. we'll get on that. All right. So what we're going to do for our news topic is we kind of already kind of alluded to what's been happening, but it is summer. E3 did not happen this year, but in lieu of that, we have all of these other press conferences like Summer Game Fest, PlayStation Showcase, Xbox Game Showcase, Ubi Forward, the STARFIELD Direct, Nintendo Direct, that we're going to kind of like cherry pick our favorite moments from or predictions for. And then kind of talk through those. So the first one I wanted to talk about is Summer Game Fest. And we kind of just have a list here. I have some things I've written down, but I wanted to kind of hear from you guys first, because I've been talking a little bit now on what stuck out to you.
Yeah. Let's call this not E3. That's what everyone else is calling it.
Yes. Yeah, I have that as the episode title tentatively right now. Not E3 gaming news. Here we go.
Yeah.
So Andy, Give me one thing from Summer Games Fest that or Summer Game Singular Fest.
All right, Summer Game Fest.
That stuck out.
I've got a few, but here's one. I think I'm gonna play. I am not a spooky game fan.
Uh-oh.
I don't really play spooky games.
Same.
But I'm going. It was one I wasn't very excited for, but after the trailer, I think I want to do Alan Wake 2. I think Alan Wake 2 looks. It like got me. This trailer got me interested, and I was like, "Oh, it kind of feels Resident Evil," but I really and here's my main reason: I loved Control so much, and this Alan Wake is part of that universe.
Yep.
And so I'm like, I didn't play the first Alan Wake. I'll probably just watch. Sorry for the Alan Wake fans out there. I'm probably just gonna watch like a recap for the story.
Yeah.
And I might give it a shot.
And he looks like John Wick in this one, so that's a plus.
Yes, that's just I just wannabe Keanu. Yes. So I think it looks really cool, man. I think that studio is brilliant, and they're not afraid to get a little weird. And the story will be awesome. And man, even Control scared me a little bit. But
Control's kind of freaky.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I think I can handle that kind of game a little better than Resident Evil. Resident Evil gets a little
more of a psychological thriller than a pure horror game.
Exactly. And so and Michelle, my wife, loves Halloween and scary things, and so I could see that a game where she kind of even sits with me. So,
Sure.
So that's one for me.
She does love horror.
And one that I didn't think either of you would mention specifically. That's why I brought it up.
I
love that. Cool. Preston, have you had a chance to? I know you weren't able to catch like all of these presentations, but what you got for this one?
I think Spider-Man 2 just like it got a release date, so that's a big deal. But we knew it was coming, but we got to see a little bit more, and I think it's October.
I didn't expect it here though, because PlayStation showed a great trailer at theirs, and then they just showed even more at Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've liked all the last few Spider-Mans a lot. So
yeah, I'm right there with you. Spider-Man 2018 is one of the 2 games I've platinumed on PlayStation.
Oh damn!
That's awesome. Game at this point is at that point where I'm like, you don't need to show me anymore. I actually don't. I don't want to see anymore.
Yeah, just let me play the game.
I want to play the game. Like, you can stop.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is probably what I was... A lot of the other games for me were like the ones you said, Andy. Like, there were horror games. There were a lot of fighting games that had come or were announced.
Yeah.
And then there was another one I liked. I'm just going to throw it in there. The Sonic game.
Oh, dude,
Looked
Sonic
fun.
Superstars looked cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look cool.
That looked pretty awesome.
I thought it was Sonic Mania 2.
Same. I was like, I called it like Sonic Mania 2. Oh, never
Nope.
mind.
But then they showed the like. I'm gonna be a. I don't the co-op. While it sounds fun, is gonna be just like people running off like
Yeah,
it's Sonic.
yeah. How are they going to contain that?
It'll be wild.
Yeah.
is what it'll
Yeah,
be.
I'm excited for that.
I would
It looks
totally
beautiful.
play that with you guys.
Yeah.
100%.
yeah.
Let's do it.
definitely. So my standout from the show that I'm most excited about, you know me, Mr. Final Fantasy over here, it's definitely going to be Pal World, Pokemon with guns.
Yep.
That's your standout. That's like a side one, but that's not the main.
I just
That
have to. If I'm gonna mention one, I gotta mention this one. I'm 100% serious about it. It looks hilarious. So it's just imagine
Yes, show
Pokemon.
You have to
imagine
show it.
Pokemon Legends of Arceus, but you can give the Pokemon guns.
It's
and then
not
you can,
even like
and then you can hunt the
hiding its
Pokemon
Pokemon.
yourself. Oh no, this is like a direct ripoff. Like I don't know
Yeah.
how they're not getting like copyright infringement. I mean, there probably is a lawsuit in full force
Impending,
being
yeah.
formulated right now.
well, a few of them are kind of like okay, that's like a knockoff, but one of them like that's Gyarados. Like I can see.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, the idea is like it's a more mature, like realistic. Like if Pokemon were real, like you can hunt them and then like essentially
eat-
like
you can eat
enslave
such a
them.
weird
You can
game.
eat them.
You can eat
poach
them. You're not supposed to. Apparently, it's illegal in the game, but you can still do it.
God, you can make them work in factories for you. Like that was Latios right there that we just saw on the
So
screen.
weird. But
But it's gonna be a hit because it's such like a
If it releases without the kind of intervention of Game Freak and the Pokemon Company, then yes, it will be an instant cult classic. I think we're all right on that. It's so, man, it was just so wild to see. But in all seriousness, Final Fantasy VII
yep.
does look really cool. So Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 called Rebirth is just a continuation of the very successful Final Fantasy VII Remake. And so Part 2 is coming out. We get to explore outside of Midgar this time, which is really cool. And it's going to be only next gen, which I'm very excited about.
yeah. I really really enjoyed during that. Geoff Keighley, who hosted the Summer Game Fest, kept trolling the audience.
Oh my gosh.
And there
And
was
I
that
was
one
like-
point
Yeah.
where he went to a Taco Bell, like
Yes.
ad.
Ad.
See, speaking of Final Fantasy, when
And
you
then the
order
crowd
a,
went.
when you
Dude, there
order
was-
a bean burrito at Taco Bell, you can get such and such for Final Fantasy on iOS or blah da 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 da.
The best part was when he said, "Speaking of Final Fantasy," one dude in the audience went, "Oh!" Like he made a shout out, like
That's amazing.
Oh man, but yeah, that's how they ended the show. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was kind of like the capstone to the whole.
Not
Yeah, that's
GTA
a-
6.
No GTA 6. Sorry, Preston.
No. GTA.
Sorry, Preston.
It's
No,
okay.
that we talked about it sounds like it'll be potentially next year. So
Hopefully.
let's hope, man. I want it for you.
Definitely.
Um,
Real quick, Nick Cage is in Dead by Daylight,
Yep.
or a new Dead by Daylight expansion, and he
Yeah.
did a presentation during Summer Games Fest,
Yep. And he
which
is
was kind of wild.
in the game.
That was the like.
Weirdest.
No, it was perfect. Like
No.
he's a meme, right? Like Nick Cage is a meme personality,
And he's totally self-aware of it.
Yeah.
I feel like that works better than other ones. Like, Keanu has done well. Like when he shows up, But,
Everybody
you
loves
remember,
him.
You remember the Game Awards when Al Pacino showed up, and you were like,
Why?
"This is cool because I like Al Pacino, but it just doesn't
Yep.
fit."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick Cage fit to me. Like I'm like it.
Oh, and he was
Like-
like very aware of the situation. Like he's like, okay, like I need to like really connect with like gamers right now, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to speak their language. Like he really gave it
Yeah.
like a good effort.
Yep.
And it's okay that it's stupid.
It was
Like, you-
totally stupid.
Oh,
But yeah,
this
totally
is like
stupid.
the video game version of The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Like it's him being a personified, exaggerated version of himself
Yep.
for the
Oh,
sake
yeah,
of
oh, yeah.
memes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any
Just,
other ones from Summer Game Fest?
I don't want to talk long about them. finally Party Animals is got a release date. Party Animals is basically a successor.
Claps in chat.
It looks a lot like a polished version of Gang Beasts, and that you have weapons and the better maps. It just looks so fun. This like clay brawler where your animals can't wait for that. And the Lies of P demo I downloaded. I haven't played it yet, but I'm stoked.
Bloodborne featuring Pinocchio, right?
Yeah, but it looks really cool to me. So I'm kind of in. And just one more for me that I feel like it looks awesome as a Metroidvania fan, and a long time ago Prince of Persia fan. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown looks really. I think they showed a deeper dive of gameplay after the show. It was awesome. I think it looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a Metroidvania fan myself, and I didn't really ever grow up with Prince of Persia, so that one doesn't really kind of grab me. But I'm excited for the fans for sure.
I really love games that have like time travel mechanics, like where you can reverse time and do things like that. Makes
like Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes. I'm more of an Ocarina of Time guy myself. But
You got him.
anyway,
Well, you've yet to play this one.
I know. I don't want to spend $70. not yet. It was $60 at Costco. I should just go get it.
Oh, there you go.
If it's on
Moving
sale,
on.
you'd be dumb not to.
Preston, you got anything else you want to talk
No,
about from?
not at Summer Game Fest.
No,
There
let's go ahead
is
and move on.
at PlayStation though.
Yes,
go.
let's move on to the PlayStation Showcase, arguably one of the biggest letdowns of this past couple of weeks.
Letdown is true. Not the worst showcase.
Not the worst, a letdown.
But a letdown as far as hype. Like
Project-
everyone's thinking.
Yeah, Project Q was a bust.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start with that. So that's the
That
one more
sucked.
thing.
Yeah,
The Steve Jobs moment that PlayStation decided to pull was announcing this Project Q, which was it leaked or like pre-announced? I forget
it was
what we
leaked,
talked about.
but no, it was leaked, but the specs were different, and it looked like it was going to be
so we had to
something
see
else
it for real for the first time.
Yeah,
It's just a streaming device, right?
yeah,
and
that's
you
all
have-
it is.
Yeah.
So
It
I
is
mean,
not self-contained. It doesn't have its own processing, like to play its own games. Like it has to be connected via Wi-Fi to an existing PlayStation 5.
Yeah, it's my phone, but bigger.
that's basically no specs. Like you're streaming another machine's.
It's a DualSense with a screen in the middle with Wi-Fi capabilities, which it looks comfortable. I'll give it that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's one of those things that
But there's no audience for it.
personally, I don't want to say that. I think there might be. Who knows? I would think companies of that size are doing focus testing, that they surely have data behind the decision, but you never know. I think that's the kind of announcement you just announce on the side. You don't even like. It's not. You don't pose it as a major announcement. You just be like, oh yeah, by the way, we have this thing. If you're interested, it's kind of cool, but like it's totally niche.
Yep,
Yeah.
I agree.
So I'll go ahead and start with my favorite announcement for this showcase, which was Snake Eater Delta, which is the Metal Gear Solid 3
cool.
Snake Eater remake. Now, I'm actually not, I haven't really played any of the Metal Gear Solid games, but why I mention this is because I'm excited to get into them, because I do love Kojima as a developer. I did really like Death Stranding. I did play parts of some Metal Gear games, but not all of them. But I'm just really intrigued by Kojima and like his legacy. And now I know this isn't going to be touched by him because he's now no longer part of Konami. But this trailer was really
crazy.
It unfortunately was leaked, so we didn't know about it before. But yeah, this is going to be really cool if it's kind of going to pay dividends on what it's the check it's writing right now.
That's crazy. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. Very, very cool. Dude, you skipped the let it play to the end where we get to see Snake.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see it.
You just showed a frog getting carried by a bird.
What people want to see is that bug.
Yeah,
That's what the people want.
birds aren't real.
We can let this play while we're
Yeah.
The trailer's so intense.
Yeah, that thing's
Andy,
dead.
what you got from this presentation that you
So for me,
picked out?
there's, I mean, I'm the PlayStation guy, and I feel like actually we all kind of are, but I mean, there just wasn't a lot. the big one for me, well, there were two games that come to mind for me. One is Dragon's Dogma 2. So I have never played the original. I don't know much about it, but when I saw the gameplay, I actually was like, "Oh, this looks like really actually kind of cool." And like I like the magic and like the combat, and it's Capcom. Capcom games aren't necessarily my favorite, and dear God, they had their
Oh,
own
that
event.
was the worst showcase I've ever seen in my life.
I
Ever.
don't know.
Just so bad.
Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Like just don't do it. Just don't do it.
I
Like
think Greg Miller said this showcase could have been an email.
and like
Yeah.
for a company that like, listen, I might not be crazy about Resident Evil, but it's a massive hit, or Monster Hunter World, it's a massive hit. Like they're doing fine. If you have nothing to show, just be like, we don't have anything this year, and everyone's like, that's cool, you've been killing it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they just released Street Fighter 6. So I mean, yeah, what's the point?
Street Fighter 6 got a 9 out of 10, and then earlier this year they did the remake for Resident Evil 3, which right 3
Four.
4
Four was this year. That's the one that got a 10.
It got a 10. So like you got a 10 and a 9
You're
in
good.
the first half of this year.
Chill.
Just don't
just take a break.
Yeah.
don't have an event. Like
Yeah.
you're fine. It's anyway, sorry, that was totally a tangent.
I love it. No. We need to talk about that a little
Yeah,
bit.
for sure.
But yeah, I think that Dragon's Dogma 2 looks cool. And that was the only good part of their showcase, I thought. Their own showcase. The other one, shout out, this isn't an announcement, but I think the Plucky Squire looks so cool.
Yes,
Oh,
it does.
man.
It does.
That-
That was one on my list.
That got me so even more hype. But yeah, Preston, go ahead and talk about it a little bit, man.
I mean, it just looks. I like that look of a game. I pick board games. I pick video games all the same way. If I like the aesthetic, I'm going to try it. That's a lot of my way of picking
and
things.
the coolest part is that it switches aesthetic. It goes from
Yes.
HD 2D to true 3D.
Yeah.
And like a really cool rendition of 3D as well. It's like kind of like that kind of like bubbly, cell shaded, almost kind of like really poppy, cartoony look.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's one of those games that I'm like, it's funny how like you call something beautiful. I'm like, this game looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, but then like there's also like realistic graphics can be beautiful in a different way. Like, I don't know.
Like Final Fantasy,
Like
the newest one.
Ghost of Tsushima, like would be a great
for sure.
example of like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. But it's just different. It's like Pixar versus real life. I don't know. It's crazy.
So speaking of that, my actual pick that I was like is an indie game, and I know I'm not a huge indie guy, but I saw it and I was like, I
feel like you are an E guy. That's
and
not fair.
it's Sword of the Sea. I don't even know if y'all remember seeing this one.
Sword of the Sea. That's not ringing a bell.
So this is what it looks like. I'm gonna pull it up.
Yes, this is from the Journey developer.
It's like it's like a surfing on a sword type of.
Have you ever played any of their games?
No, but I remember one of them, the
Abzu is good.
Journey. You
Journey's
told
the
me about
famous one.
Yeah.
so good.
So this game looks so cool, and I was like, yes, please, let's
Yeah,
try.
this is a very
one.
similar art style to Journey.
Yeah.
And a similar setting too.
So it's looked like it was like. So I do love surfing, and this. I was like, it looks like
what
surfing.
a cool trailer.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they
and
knocked
the
it out of the
art
park with this
is
one.
killer. Half
Yes.
pipe. What? Like, what are we playing here? I'm down.
This is probably going to be up for Game of the Year for
Indies.
for art direction
Oh yeah. So
for sure.
super excited about this. I'll definitely try it out.
Yeah. Their
when it
games
comes to
are always
PlayStation.
like they're not long games, and they're it's just a spectacle, and I would call it it's just an experience. Journey, like you finish it and you're like, wow, that was cool, and you can play it in an evening, like 3 hours, maybe not even that long, probably.
Yeah.
And you're like, cool, that was a good game. Like I love games like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Journey's on time to beat is 90 minutes,
Oh wow. It's a short game.
90 to 2 hours. Yeah.
So an hour and a half to 2 hours. Yeah, I beat it
That's
in one
cool.
night.
Yep. So
And
that
twist,
looks really good.
The twist to that game is
Yeah.
really cool.
I
too.
know the twist, and I haven't played the game, but it is the concept is awesome.
I didn't know, and I remember being like, when I finally found out, it was like,
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
Very
Is
cool.
that one of those? No, we're not going to talk about
Yeah, just go play it. That, like we said, it's 90 to 120 minutes. Just go play it.
Yep.
How about you, Houston? PlayStation Showcase.
Another one from me.
You don't have to.
I mean, I am sort of excited to see the next thing from Bungie, to see Marathon.
Yeah.
I didn't play the original. Like, I think that's like PS1 days or even older. But they're kind of, I mean, it's Bungie. They made Halo. Like, they are an amazing developer. They're making Destiny. They are now a Sony first party studio. So to see this kind of game, a new FPS that looks really like well done artistically and kind of like, it kind of seems like purpose made. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I do believe it's going to be a live service game. So like multiplayer online Call of Duty style type thing. But I'm excited to see more about it. They didn't really show much except for this really cool, like super modern futuristic hype trailer. But yeah,
It's a cool trailer. I wonder how much Sony's gonna push it. I mean, they're gonna go kind of hard, I would guess, in the next 2 to 3 years on first person shooters. With the Activision deal going to Microsoft, they're gonna need to do that, I think. I'll be curious to see what comes out, especially from Bungie. Looks cool.
For sure.
A lot of expectation for that one. We'll see.
Yep.
Yeah. But in general, the PlayStation Showcase, they didn't show many true first party announcements, and the ones that they did show weren't only shown there. Like, some were at Summer Games Fest. And yeah, it just, I don't know. It was a bit of a letdown, seeing as like the last Sony showcase was the PS5 announcement, I believe, with like Miles Morales, with Ratchet and Clank, with all these amazing games coming out for PS5. It was the launch window. So we'll see if anything else. I mean, I guess it is possible that we'll have another one with some more exciting drops later this year. Like, we still haven't seen Wolverine yet.
Gosh, I forgot about that one.
That was a disappointment for me. I'm not surprised though,
because Spider-Man's coming out this year, so
they have Spider-Man. But I was like, give us just a little tease, you know,
Something.
yeah, kind of like that Fable tease, right?
Oh, we got to talk about that.
Look at that transition into the Xbox games
I was
showcase.
say, you're cheating. You're jumping.
That Fable, though.
No, it is time to move on to what I believe is the best showcase that we've seen in like 2 years.
Yes,
which
finally.
is the Xbox Summer 2023 Game Showcase.
I think maybe a Game Awards had a decent showing in the last 2 years. But like, I think both Game Awards in the last 2 years have been very good.
They've been very good, but man, this is just hit after hit after hit after hit. There's so many good games. And Preston, I want you to take it away with your favorite first.
Oh man, I would have to say from trailers, it's got to be Fable. Like, that just looked really
Cool.
are you a Fable just
fan
saw that one tonight, and I was like, out of everything I've seen.
I made him watch it tonight. I don't think he's played it though.
No,
or any of the other Fables.
Yeah.
So the cool part of it was like its actual stories, which was cool. So
that's kind of new, actually.
Yeah, I have no idea. So I have never played the
original
Fables.
Fable was never like, there was no like Jack and the Beanstalk, or like it wasn't like there were no pre-existing storylines, and I still almost can't tell if that trailer was like part of the gameplay or not.
I think it's half and half. I think whenever you're being the woman is being held by the giant, I think that's when gameplay starts. But like the interview portion, I believe, is all just pre-rendered stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I played. I think I played all 3 Fables back in the day. But man, and this is a new developer. This isn't Lion's Head, because I don't think that studio's around anymore, right?
I don't think so.
Don't think they are.
Yeah. So I don't think Peter Molyneux, the guy who made Fable, is involved at all.
Gotcha.
And
dude, when she tosses that fireball, I was like, I think that's gameplay, like, or at least like rendered in engine gameplay. I was like, also David Adeoye, I think that's his name.
Which guy?
The guy who's playing the giant.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with his work, but I just looked it up. So yes, Lionhead and Big Blue Box were the previous studio. This is now made by Playground, who is the developer of Forza Horizon.
That's not his.
Which is kind of cool. So this is like their other half of their studio. I think Ryan McCaffrey was saying that they kind of split into 2 studios within Playground. one's developing Forza Horizon, one is developing Fable right now.
Gotcha.
And so Forza Horizon's a gorgeous game, 10 out of 10, won Game of the Year for IGN a couple years ago. So yeah, I don't think this Fable is going to be anything less than stellar. I think this is an easy 9, if not more. But it's probably not going to be out for another year and a half, or a year maybe.
So my other one was, this won't surprise you, is Payday.
Okay,
Cool.
Yeah. That seems like a Preston game.
Yeah. So that one, they finally released a trailer, like a full.
What do you think about the trailer? Like, I know you're excited for the franchise of Payday, and that's like a genre up your alley. But do you think the trailer did a lot?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just shows that it's next gen, if you will. Like,
okay,
it's not necessarily like a whole new thought. They're not redoing the game necessarily. It's a lot of it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was Payday 2 PS3 era, or like Xbox?
Yes, and then Payday,
360 era.
Yeah, it's old.
So what I thought watching this trailer was like, it actually looks like a last gen game. It doesn't. I don't think, from what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I think it looks like Team Fortress, if you've ever played those games. Like, it's a weird, like, I'm like, it just doesn't.
That seems a little harsh to me. I think it does. There are maybe some instances where I feel like it does look a little older, but it depends on also what they're trying to do with it. Is this supposed to be like a 120 FPS, like in your face multiplayer thing with ultra low latency, crazy fast loading times, like more competitive?
Yeah. It's actually now that the trailer gets going, it actually looks better as it goes. I feel.
Is this a competitive game, or is it like a story game with multiplayer? Does it have multiplayer?
I think it has co-op.
Yeah,
that would make sense.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's co-op. Yeah.
The more we get into the quote unquote next gen, the more it becomes less about graphics, which they are important, and there are games that look truly beautiful. But there are all these next gen features, like specifically like load times and like response times and max FPS and all this kind of stuff that matter just as much now to a lot of gamers, especially the frame rate thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, I have hopes that this one is going to be good, but I do agree that it maybe doesn't look quite as polished as some other games.
What's great about this game is it's on Game Pass day one.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
pretty much everything. Everything we're going to mention.
Really?
Almost every game was an Xbox Game Studio game, and every one of them are day one Game Pass.
Yep, day and date on Game Pass, almost every single one. That was kind of the coolest thing. That was the biggest flex that they had from this Direct.
When the best showcase has all their games available day one on Game Pass, I think Game Pass has actually recently been like, there's not a lot coming. But now, when these games come, I mean,
there's going to be a lot.
Yeah, the next year and a half for Xbox is going to be. Xbox fans are going to eat good. All right, I want to go next.
Do it.
Star Wars Outlaws. Holy crap,
bro!
Good. Can we get some footage of this, please?
Yep, coming now. It
looks great.
It looks incredible.
It's like Uncharted with a Star Wars skin on it.
Correct. It's almost like Jedi Survivor was almost there. But because it had that like Dark Souls vibe, like there's a little bit of other things going on there.
This is the kind of the same vibe. It's like bandity, run and gun, hide behind barrels, blow stuff up, like getaway cars. In this case, getaway speeders and spacecraft.
Her little sidekick guy. You can't have every Star Wars game that your main character has to have a little pet, something, robot, animal, something, and
definitely
once again.
I mean, every movie too.
Yeah, that's true. It's just part of Star Wars.
R2D2, BB-8.
Yeah, it looks
BD-1 from Jedi Survivor.
I think it's great. I think I'm a little the time setting that it's in Star Wars being still like the original trilogy era. I'm kind of like is that getting played out? Like, could you just?
I kind of like the pseudo 80s like.
I mean, you
biker chick badass kind of vibe to it.
You can't go. Oh no, that's cool. I was thinking any other time. Which I did think that. What if she did run into Cal Kestis? I mean, it's the same era.
When is he going to be in a movie?
I think he may eventually, but not yet.
Because the actor like looks exactly like him. Like they just face capped him.
Yep.
So that's also just sidebar. Ghost of Tsushima movies in development, and I'm still hoping that the guy that played Jin Sakai, the main character, gets the part because they did the same thing for him. He looks exactly like him.
Why not?
Dude. But yeah, Star Wars Outlaws, like
the part where you do the flying looks really cool too.
Yes. And like the text treatments and the graphic design, the UI design looks so killer.
Yeah, right here. You go like right
into
a battle. You go no, like, and when you come out of hyperspeed, it's like it's a battle.
Heck yeah. And I believe this is not just Xbox, right? It'll be coming day and date, but it's not just for Xbox because this is Ubisoft.
Yeah.
So definitely going to get this for PlayStation.
Thank God that EA does not have the exclusive license to Star Wars anymore. Am I right? Like with I know Jedi Survivor is Respawn, is that's part of EA. It's like
I was trying to think of that earlier.
They finally figured it out at the very end.
Well, at least we got a couple of good games out of it.
Yeah, and I'm happy with that. But man, I'm really excited for this one and more games to come out.
Good. All right, Andy, your turn.
Okay, so both of the games, you guys. Fable, by the way, I'm pumped for Fable. I don't know what it is. I want to see more gameplay. That was still a bit of a story trailer. Not even really a story trailer. Like, I can't tell. Is Jack and the Beanstalk like on the main story, or is that just one of many adventures?
I think it's just a Fable in the greater world of Fable.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think Fable 3 was kind of a disaster of a game. Like, it still was good, but man, it had so many weird choices. Fable 2 is arguably the best one. I really can't wait. I think them getting rid of Fable was one of the dumbest things. It's like you had this hit franchise that people really liked. So it's finally great. Do you think
they're going to bring, just real quick, last thing on that? Do you think they're going to bring back the morality system?
Yeah. That's one of the best parts.
I would imagine so. Just different developer. You never know.
Yeah, and they could do it better and deeper, and I don't know. I think it could make it really fun. My pick from Xbox, I guess. I'm going to go with South of Midnight. There's other games I want to mention, but South of Midnight was one of those like big three they opened up with. They did Fable, Star Wars Outlaws, and then South of Midnight. South of Midnight was the brand new IP. Whoa. It looked so cool, and the music opening and the girl that like I loved. It kind of had a deep South, like New Orleans Cajun swamp vibe, and I just really liked it. It had this really just interesting art style as well.
That is so
it looks like
crisp.
A Coraline.
I was
like the claymation style.
That's Leica animation. Leica? No,
you tell me.
I don't like a.
It's cool though, but yeah, it looks like it's pictures of real objects, not graphically rendered animation.
Yeah,
it's so crazy.
I gotta look it up now.
But yeah, if you're not watching this episode and you're just listening, go ahead and jump over to Spotify or YouTube where we have the video episodes and just check this out. And we've been posting videos of our producer Preston's been playing videos of most of the games we've been talking about. But this one is pretty spectacular. It just looks different than anything that's come out like really ever. Like it's really hard to do that in games these days. And this one I think is kind of like found a really cool niche.
And the voice acting and like the back and forth. And then, like, the main character just so confident. And then you don't realize how giant that dude is. You're like, whoa, the guy playing the guitar is humongous. And it's just kind of a Monster Hunter vibe to it. She's chasing a monster, and I love stuff like that. So I am totally in, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, for now, right? It's so hard when things first and all you see is this, like, I don't know. It's just it's not a cutscene. What's the word? I'm like cinematic. I'm like, I'm waiting. Like, show me some gameplay.
Yeah.
But man, I'm in.
Very cool. I got one more, and then we have to talk about the elephant in the room after the fact, but we'll save that. My last one for standout from the showcase, just for me personally, was Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth. And this is one of the newest announcements in the Yakuza series of games.
Ridiculous.
The trailer was hilarious.
Are you sure you can show this trailer, Preston?
They don't actually show anything, really. I mean, there's a butt, so just fair warning, there's about to be a butt on your screen.
It's the Austin Powers gag.
They pulled an Austin Powers gag where they're covering him up with everything that they can imagine that would be funny in the foreground.
Yes.
But this is a direct sequel to Yakuza Like a Dragon. It's called Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and the protagonist, Ichiban Kasuga, is washed ashore on one of the islands of Hawaii. And people are freaking out because he's just a naked dude with Yakuza tattoos, just chilling
on the beach.
and he doesn't know how he got there. He has amnesia.
Jeez. A streak.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So
Infinite Wealth is such a cool title.
Yeah.
it is. And that kind of played into like a lot of like what happened in the previous game, because he kind of like got kicked out of the Yakuza and then he kind of built his way back up into it. And there's like a mini game that you can like kind of become like a mogul. It's really cool.
That's cool.
So that one was a fun one. But I think, go ahead.
I was gonna ask. No, you go ahead.
No, I'm going to transition us into the next thing. But if you have
Preston,
some more to say,
I was
about
gonna
this.
ask. I was gonna say, Preston, do you have one more you want to add on from this showcase? This showcase is the best one. There's so many we could talk about, but I definitely want to talk about one more.
Which one?
Avowed. So just real quick, Avowed was one I've mentioned many times. I've been very much looking forward to. Avowed is the Obsidian game that is their kind of take on a Skyrim style game. So here's the thing. It doesn't look incredibly polished. I think I at first I was like a little like, oh man, it kind of looks not as high end as I was hoping. But then I was like, you know, it has kind of the same level of quality as oh gosh, what's their sci-fi game? Their Fallout.
Outer Wilds? Was that them?
Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds. Anyway, Outer Worlds was fun and like had a character to it and like this doesn't seem to be as tongue-in-cheek silly, but it looks like a really good Skyrim like, and when we're all starving for that. Like Skyrim it's been over 10 years, like 12 years now, right? Like it's been so
something
long.
like that.
The same people waiting for Skyrim, that's like the fantasy equivalent to the people waiting for GTA. Like we want the next one. And it was so good. And I think this looks great. And from what I understand, it actually might be not a full price game. And it's going to be like a compact, like tight story. And I'm like, that's actually probably what I want. Like I want like a compact, tight story with like cool magic and if you don't know anything about Avowed, it's in the Pillars of Eternity universe, and Pillars of Eternity is one of those isometric RPG games that like where you have a band of characters that you can switch between from, and you level them all up, and it's definitely an old. It's niche, very niche is what I would call it, but it's got an interesting universe, and I really liked I played the second one. I played Pillars of Eternity 2. Didn't finish it. Very long games. But it's cool, and I like it. It's different than Skyrim. It's different than the Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, so my beef with this one is that it looked noticeably worse than the first look that we got like a year or two ago, which was mostly pre-rendered, it seems now. Like I would have been okay with the level of polish that this one has or doesn't have if it would have been more or less the same, but the trailer like looked incredible.
The first trailer, that was a true cinematic though. Like it was.
Yeah, it's just like the way they kind of portrayed it was still from that first person perspective. And so I was like, oh, is this gameplay? That looks really cool. And I think I got a lot of people hyped about it. And then I think there has been a general consensus of this doesn't look quite as good as what we were expecting.
Right. I still think we're over a year out from it coming though. So like
that long.
Over a year? Yeah, they didn't announce a release date, and so I think it's gonna be. It's a Skyrim style game. I think it's gonna be a minute till it comes out. So I think by the time the next trailer, I think expectations will be better set and corrected. I mean, to compare that, like, what about Blizzard? Like, Blizzard has the most insane cinematics. And then you see the game and you're like, oh, like Diablo 4 cinematic. The cinematic was bananas. The game doesn't look like that. It just doesn't.
Yeah, we had a pretty lengthy chat about that a few episodes back. I get that.
All the World of Warcraft cinematics are like incredible, and then you see the game and you're like, oh
Yeah. Diablo 4 is like that too.
Fortnite's like
Yeah.
that. They're all like that.
Fortnite is like definitely like that. But Fortnite looks pretty good these days.
Yeah.
At least Fortnite in its cinematics doesn't change its art style though. Like
Yeah.
it's still cartoony and whimsical and whatever.
It's just-
Like
yeah.
Diablo was like those that
Yeah.
opening
Photorealistic,
cinematic
yeah.
is like must have cost them a fortune.
They made it
Yeah.
back pretty quickly.
Seems like it.
It is it's the best selling Diablo game. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's okay that we're having a bit longer of an episode than we usually do, but there's so much news to cover, and I want to be able to get to these game reviews in the next couple of weeks. So we're going to keep pressing on if that's okay with you guys.
Let's do it.
Pressing on to what I think is probably the biggest announcement of this entire week, which was the STARFIELD Direct. And so I just want to kind of like get into it. We had an hour-long deep dive into STARFIELD, which showed us true gameplay, art direction, like kind of engine talk, like just development chatter. I just want to hear you like just some general thoughts about this, and maybe just gauge your hype levels. What do you think? Where you think it's going to land? Is it going to be, as they've been touting, the most important RPG of all time, or whatever they're calling it? I personally, though, if I can start, am actually not that hyped, because I am, like, through history, not been a huge Bethesda fan. I did enjoy Skyrim. I didn't enjoy Oblivion. I didn't enjoy any of the Fallout games. No, not really. They just don't click with me. And I think a lot of it's art direction for me. Like they've made some kind of like, I don't know. The first person thing is weird for me. I'm not a huge first person gamer. And then just like, I don't know, at the time, like your Final Fantasies and stuff were a bit flashier and a bit more polished looking, like pound for pound compared to most Bethesda games. And so that's kind of where I gravitated to, I think. But yeah, this one, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be really successful because of how much they've hyped it up, all the support behind it. I mean, it sounds really impressive with these like 1,000, like literally like 1,000 like catered planets and stuff. Unlike No Man's Sky, it's not all procedurally generated, like where there's actual like a hand touch on most of these worlds, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it just seems massive. It seems really cool. It seems more polished than any other Bethesda game before it. So
The ship
I can see where the hype is coming from.
Yeah. I've never played Starfield, I don't think. But all of the customizations seem insane on what you can customize.
Yeah.
Do you
From the
mean
ships.
Skyrim?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I'm talking Starfield. Sorry.
No,
you're
yeah,
fine.
Starfield this is the first one.
Oh,
It hasn't come out yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I thought there was one before it. My bad.
No. They haven't made any like space theme. This is their space Skyrim is what people are calling it.
Why did I
Yeah,
think
and
there
it-
was one on N64? That was Starfield?
Star Fox?
StarCraft.
Starcraft, maybe?
Maybe.
That's a Blizzard game.
yeah.
Anyway,
Sorry.
so I actually watched the entire the second half of the stream all about Starfield again today while editing. I wanted something that like wouldn't distract me, and I'd seen it before, so it wasn't like super distracting. But I wasn't paying attention too much the first time because I was on vacation when it aired, or I was driving back. We went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, into the Smoky Mountains. It was a really cool trip. A lot of hiking, tough with kids, but it was fun. But I think I'm a little bit more excited for it. I think there's just something about, and they called the theme of the game, they called it NASA Punk. And because the NASA style is like clinical, practical, like only practical, style doesn't matter. That's just kind of NASA's vibe. But then like the punk is the like cyberpunk, right? It's the like, oh no, there's a little bit of character, a little bit of customization. And I just something about like the I'm not really that into space sim games. And so like a little bit of shipbuilding, a little bit of customization, if it gives me like fun abilities, like, and I think that's it. Like for me, it's where's the fun factor of this game? And I'm still a little unclear like where I'm gonna have fun, because I don't want to like meticulously customize my ship,
Right.
but I do
Like
want to
that.
a little bit if it gives me cool rockets and cool
Yeah.
other abilities, or or just like paint jobs are fun. Like I do like some customization, but I'm not sure. And the game does look very, very big.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like, and when people are jumping around rocketing, or when the melee guy, that guy talking, he's like, I just want to punch people. I'm like, oh, that looks awesome. Like,
Right.
I am excited about some of that. I think it looks really cool. I think it's just one of those games that I know is a big deal. But I'm not hyped other than that. Like, if this was just a trailer and no one like made a big deal out of it, I
You'd
don't
be
know if
like,
I'd
oh,
try.
okay.
I don't know if I'd try it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of hype around it, and I'm like,
Yeah, I felt like so one, shout out to the cinematographers and the editors of this direct, because
oh yeah,
it looked clean. But two, they all seemed very excited about it, but I felt
Mhm.
like they were trying really hard to get me excited about it, which is
Yeah.
what you should do. But like it felt try hard. It didn't feel quite as like, we know we have a killer product and you should just like it for what it is. It's like, you have to like this because it's awesome. Like
Right.
that kind of felt like the message. I
the
don't know
vibe.
if I'm alone in that.
No, 100%. And the vibe I get is this game. Two thoughts here. It's either going to be a 10 out of 10 best game maybe ever, or I feel like it's going to be like a 6 or 7.
So
Like,
why is this game so? I thought it was a sequel. So why is it so hyped?
well, it's their first new IP, they said, in 25 years. So they've only been doing the Elder Scrolls and Skyrim and
Fallout.
and
The Elder
yeah,
Scrolls and
sorry.
Fallout. Yeah. Those two IPs.
I mean,
Aside from some umbrella companies, but
and like Wolfenstein is theirs, and there's some other ones, but I don't think that's Bethesda Game Studios. That's just their other studios within Bethesda Softworks.
yeah, like don't they own Arcane? So it's like Deathloop, like that studio.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. So there's a few.
They also
umbrellas,
own id Software too.
So Doom, that whole
Doom.
franchise.
Correct.
But yeah, this is first party Bethesda games, which is Fallout, Elder Scroll series, and that's it. But there's a lot of games within that umbrella, but this is
this
IP
is
number
just-
3.
It's just, it would be like, Preston, if Rockstar said like, we're doing a new IP, a game we've never made, and we've been working 10 years on it.
Yeah. People
You would be excited.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I don't know what to expect. Like,
right. But we know it's good.
But you know it's Rockstar. That's what this is.
Yeah. That makes sense. Just curious.
I appreciate you putting it like that. That's a really good way to kind of like visualize the gravity of what can happen with this game.
And I do think I'm very, very curious, because when they started showing all the different worlds and you're like, whoa, this looks like Cyberpunk. And then they showed another planet and you're like, oh, but this looks like Mass Effect. And you're like, oh man, there's like a lot going on here. And I'm like, are aliens a thing? Is that going to be a part of the storyline? What's the exploration? Like, when they introduced that, like, you're financed by this billionaire, I'm like, that dude's evil. I just know that dude's evil. And like, I am excited about it. It doesn't intrigue me. The theme immediately doesn't intrigue me. And I feel pretty certain that for the fan that does love this stuff, they're probably gonna like lose their job over this game. You know, like if you love space sims and like crafting ships and like this is you.
So the way I've heard it described well, and if you were familiar with No Man's Sky and how that is a like space exploration, crafting, gathering, true space sim that's procedurally generated and kind of like, I don't know, almost like a roguelike kind of thing going on. It's that layered with Bethesda's kind of self-touted excellence of storytelling on top of it. And so it's a really expansive kind of no limits sandbox of space with a really good core story layered on top of it.
I also, something I liked, No Man's Sky is famously known for being procedurally generated. So every planet is made based off an algorithm. Like, a human being did not make the planet and design the missions and like when you land there. This game is not only that, which is refreshing, because the problem with that is you can say 100,000 planets, but then every one eventually you're like, it just gets samey. This is no, they said 1,000 planets, but you could tell when they were showing off like one of the planets at Alpha Centauri, the big city, they called it New Atlantis. When they showed from space, like they showed like 3 major cities on that planet. I'm like, oh, okay. So this planet, maybe you can explore 360. I don't know. But like there's going to be a real story and a real places you can go that are handcrafted by the game designers to be
Right.
Cinematic and interesting. And then I'm sure there are going to be some planets where like it's just all procedurally generated, but there really will be cool stuff on it. But at least then it won't feel boring and like the saying is wide as an ocean but shallow as a puddle.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what No Man's Sky at launch was. It was like, yeah, you can go to any planet, but they're boring.
You bought that at launch, right?
I did, and
I did too.
they've really turned it around. Apparently, people love that game. I have not picked it up since though.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they kind of delivered on a lot of the promises they had made, but didn't follow up on at launch.
Gotcha.
But yeah, and I'm going to be willing to bet that about 90% of those planets are going to be the procedurally generated. Like you can go like mess around in the solar system if you want kind of planets. But then like if you want to do the core story, here's like your
Main
I don't
planets.
know, 20, 30 planets that are going to be like really interesting.
Well, just to put it at what you said, they said there's 1,000 planets. 90% is 900. That still means there's 100 planets that they've put effort and design into. Right.
Possibly. I'm actually going to guess it's probably more towards the 30 or 40 range.
Sure. But even if like I still think it's going to be like very big and very interesting. Here's my question to you guys. Do you think 3 months after launch, I do think a lot of people are going to try this game because it's going to be everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And included on Game Pass.
But
Jeez,
will it be a mainstream hit in the same way that Elder Scrolls and Fallout are?
Yes. I don't think that's a question. I think
Is there a game? Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Is there a game that by this developer that is just trashed? Like that just crashed?
I mean, yes. Fallout 76.
Fallout 76, yeah.
Was that live service game. It was, but they haven't given up on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But yeah, the fans that want a new Skyrim, that are huge Bethesda fans, that are Fallout 4 fans, of their like their greatest hits fans, are gonna eat this game up, especially if it's on Game Pass day and date. But being owned by Xbox now.
But I'm a big Skyrim fan, and I don't know if I'm gonna eat this game up. I just don't know if it'll reach that level.
Yeah, I mean, time will tell. I mean, they didn't know Skyrim was going to be a big hit 10 years after its release and still be able to sell 1 million copies a year of it.
They didn't know that, but Morrowind and Oblivion, you can see the trajectory. You know, obviously it's exponential, like nothing touched it. And the same way that you can see the success in GTA 3 and 4, you still never could have imagined 5 would be what it was, but you could still see the rise in popularity. I'm just curious. I don't know. I mean, sci-fi is definitely a genre people love. And so I'm just curious, like Starfield 2, do we think like people will be clamoring for it? Or do you think they're like, no, I want another Fallout, or I want another Elder Scrolls?
I guess we'll see.
I guess
only time will tell.
See.
Boom.
Time and space.
Yes.
You know what they say about time?
It's
I don't.
It's a flat circle. I don't know.
It's the next frontier. Let's go.
Time is the next frontier. Speaking of time, speaking of the future, tomorrow we have a Nintendo Direct that has been announced. I didn't put a link here. I'm just kind of going off of what I heard in previous podcasts that I listened to today.
Mañana?
Mañana.
Early
I believe,
one.
like first thing in the morning. It's like 9 a.m. Pacific or something like
No,
that.
it's
You gotta
9
love
a.m.
Nintendo.
Central. It's 10 a.m. Eastern.
Oh, so
7
Pacific. Oof.
Pacific.
Sorry to IGN and kind of funny.
You gotta love Nintendo. Like Xbox is like, hey, we're gonna do this in 3 months. And Nintendo's like, hey, we're doing it in 2 days.
Yeah. All right. So I'm pulling up a IGN article real quick. Yeah, so June 21st will start at 7 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Eastern, so that's 9 Central, 3 p.m. BST. If you live in Australia, that translates to June 22nd at 12 a.m. AEST. They said it's going to be roughly 40 minutes. And I believe they said it's going to, okay, so roughly 40 minutes of information focused mainly on Nintendo Switch titles launching this year, including new details on Pikmin 4.
Will we get, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Will we get a new Mario game? That's what I want to know.
A new Mario game announced and launched this year. Ooh, I think that's far-fetched, but I will say I do think that it said like something like largely or mostly focused on games launching this year.
Mm-hmm.
I do think there's time for like a one more thing. And I think those one more things, if I'm just going to throw out the biggest predictions first, and we can kind of maybe go towards some of the smaller ones, is one, we get a Mario Odyssey successor.
Yes.
Whoa.
Two, or we get an announcement for one. I don't think it releases this year at all.
Announcement's
two,
fine.
we get an announcement of the next Nintendo console.
Nintendo 4096 or something like that.
I can see it. It's time.
I think they need to announce it soon, or at least announce that it's in development.
Well, okay, here's my reason for them not announcing a console.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely a reason.
Oh, there's tons, yeah.
A big reason is we have holiday coming up. They're going to want to offload as many of those Switches as they can. Why would they announce?
I mean, we don't. Maybe they've stopped manufacturing. I have no idea. Like they've got
to do it sometime though. And what they can always just put it on sale during Christmas.
Yeah, that's true. It would sell like hotcakes.
The main reason not to do it is, like you said, yeah, it's going to cannibalize the sales. The moment the one's announced, the sales will start to dip on the current version.
Yeah.
But the current version, the crazy thing is it's not dipping in popularity.
Yeah.
Nope.
Everyone loves the Switch.
I think it's still on track to be the number one console of all time.
Jeez.
It's still a bit behind PS2, but it's getting up there.
Yeah. So I agree with you that I think those are big. I think the other big possibilities is I would like to see one more showing of Silk Song, Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Yeah.
I don't think that's one more thing. That's just a great.
That's a possible announcement. Yeah.
I want a date. That's all I want. I actually don't need a trailer. Just give me a date.
Yeah.
All I need. I think I would love to see a big remake announcement in the same vein as like the Game Boy Legend of Zelda game they released, or
Link's Awakening,
or like why is they remastered Wind Waker and put it on the Wii U? Remember that? And then it still hasn't come to Switch. Where's Wind Waker?
or Twilight Princess, same thing,
dude. A full Twilight Princess remake would be really cool. I could see that,
or just porting it. I mean, I don't think people actually want a remake of that one.
Right.
I think both of those, they just want HD, maybe remasters, just brought to Switch.
Maybe we actually see Metroid Prime.
Finally.
They teased it so long ago.
They did.
I think it's dead.
No, they announced they restarted production completely.
Oh, did they? Okay, maybe I missed that.
That was like 2 years ago, though, that they
Yeah.
completely restarted development.
Yeah. So just FYI, PlayStation 2 is number one, followed by
Wii.
Nintendo DS, then the Switch.
Oh, the Switch passed up the Wii finally?
It's PlayStation
did.
2, DS, Switch, Game Boy and Game Boy Color, PlayStation 4, PlayStation, then Wii.
Oh, okay. Dang. How many units behind is the Switch right now?
Switch is at 125.6 million, and the DS is 154 million.
Okay.
And then the PlayStation 2 is 155 million.
Jeez.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I like
Sidebar.
that.
So these aren't my predictions, but some other things I was like, I'm gonna look up, see what the interwebs want to say. Okay, first off, what do you think is the likelihood of DLC for Zelda?
That was going to be my next one. I was listening to Kind of Funny earlier today, and Barrett Courtney was saying that the DLC was announced for Breath of the Wild a month before the game's release, even though it didn't come out till months later. So I think the best we'd get right now is best case scenario is they announce DLC and it comes out for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tears of the Kingdom is such a massive game, even by Breath of the Wild standards. Like, it
Sure.
is a bigger game.
It doesn't really need
It doesn't
the
need
press
as
or more
much.
content.
Correct. I think they can milk it for quite a bit longer until they even release DLC. But
I could see something small and free, like, hey, new amiibo functionality, new
Yeah.
something like whatever, like
yeah,
something tiny. But yeah, I don't see like any paid DLC announcement.
What about a Mario Maker 3?
Not yet.
I think that's wishful thinking for you.
I think they need to do a 3D Mario game first.
I do. I do think the next
no,
mainline Mario
but
game
there's
needs to
already
come
been
out.
a 3D Mario game after Mario Maker, right? Wasn't?
No, Mario Odyssey came out before Mario Maker 2.
Did it?
It did. It was like a
That
launch
sounds
title.
right.
Mario Maker 2 came out like a few years into the Switch's release.
Do you think we get a 3D World 2 before we get a Odyssey 2 or another new IP?
No, because they did 3D World Bowser's Fury already, and that was also after Odyssey.
I think we'll get a whole new game.
Not Odyssey 2?
No, I think it could be like a 2D. Yeah,
I think they bring
Maybe
Galaxy back.
maybe it's hoping.
Ooh, Galaxy
Yeah,
3
that'd
would be
be
cool.
Like all of a sudden go back to Galaxy.
All right, so mega stupid prediction that probably won't ever happen. They do the next Mario to release with the new Switch hardware.
Ooh.
Mm.
No,
like
but
they did
no,
for
'cause they
Zelda
said
with the Switch currently.
the games will be coming out this year.
Yeah, I think this is more of like the wishful thinking, one more thing.
Yeah.
It's like we said this is most of the content, but here's like the secret thing at the end.
Yeah.
Ooh, here's a fun prediction. As their one more thing, they don't announce a game. They announce the next movie in partnership with Illumination, and it's going to be Zelda.
And it's going to be Zelda.
They don't announce a cast. They don't announce details.
They
They
just-
just announce that it's in development.
Yeah, maybe. What about a new Pyro game? Was that them?
Pyro? Spyro?
Spyro.
Pyro.
No.
No, that's not owned by them.
Oh.
Spyro
What else?
is actually owned by Activision, who will soon be owned by Xbox.
Wild.
So someone in this Reddit thread predicted that we were going to have this Nintendo Direct today or tomorrow. And they've also predicted the 2D Super Mario Brothers game and a remake of an SNES classic.
Ooh. I want a remake of the original Pokemon. Well, I guess we kind of got that in Let's Go.
We did.
Sort of.
Let's Go was totally that.
Okay. Yeah, never mind then. I was thinking Pokemon Yellow would be another fun one to get, but that's what Let's Go Pikachu was.
So here's another one that's a fun possibility. Apparently, there's no lineup of what Nintendo's doing in the fall. Like, there's just nothing. It's a weird empty pocket. No, not besides. There's just
No,
nothing.
yeah, because Pikmin is July, right? That's next month that it releases.
July, but nothing between like August and November or something. And so some people think they're going to announce Luigi's Mansion 4 and have the release date in October this year.
Jesus.
I don't know. I don't see that because they have a really long history of releasing one IP per console. Like one Zelda, one Mario,
I know
one Luigi's Mansion.
it's been 4 years.
But
And
it's
they did two Zeldas.
Not on the Switch.
What
Oh
are you
yeah, they
talking
did.
about?
Breath of the Wild, duh. But that was Wii
Was it
U.
launched? No.
It spanned generations.
It came out the week that Switch came out.
Yeah. You're wrong. You're right. I just don't see Luigi's Mansions being that important to them.
Apparently, it sold 13 million copies. And
Bro.
as far as their franchises go, is a big one.
The
And the
things
studio that developed it did that Mario Strikers Battle League game, which was like a small game.
Mhm.
So some people think that was the small game. They were also working on a bigger title. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but
What's crazy to me is Nintendo always pulls out the weirdest, like you never saw it coming, and you're like, oh,
Nintendo weird decision.
yeah, like, okay, I guess we're doing a Bowser only game. That's
Dude, what an idea.
Bowser's the good guy, killing
bring back
plumbers.
Dude, let's bring Super Mario RPG back.
Preston immediately gets a call from Miyamoto, flies him to Tokyo. You're the ideas guy now.
We're not getting a 3D Mario game. We're getting a 3D open world Star Fox game.
A D3
man.
game.
All the space games.
I think Star Fox deserves more than the type of games he's given.
Where's the yeah, for sure. But
Branch him out. Like,
where's the next Captain Falcon game? Where's the next F-Zero?
ooh, F-Zero is a great prediction.
Not gonna happen.
It's not. That would be so cool though.
I mean, it could happen, but I think they're not going to pump a ton of money into development of that. It would be a smaller game.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds cool. Like Metroid is showing it's popular enough to get a big investment in, right?
Yeah, Metroid Dread was huge.
And that was a small 2D side scroller. Like people are pumped for Metroid now.
GoldenEye. They
Not
already,
owned by them.
they
but
already
It's
released
not
it
owned
too,
by them
right?
anymore.
we
They
may
released-
not. Yeah, we may not see only first party titles too. I guarantee there'll be some third parties.
Super Mario
Oh,
Galaxy 3.
That's why I
Yeah.
mentioned Silk Song, and there's going to be some other games.
I could
by
definitely
Legend.
see back to what Andy was saying about Galaxy 3. I definitely think that could be a possibility. Like if we get a new 3D Mario,
Mhm.
Galaxy 3 could be in the running,
Yeah.
which I think would be cool.
I think
I
it's
think
gonna. I'm gonna call it. It's gonna be a 2D Mario.
Okay, we're gonna follow Reddit.
Hogwarts Legacy finally comes out on Switch this fall. I forgot about that too. That's
Bro,
okay.
that game seems like it would just botch on that system.
It probably will. It'll
Like,
but
that
if it runs at
sounds-
720, it may be all right.
but as in not be able to run.
Yeah, it'll just be
Yeah.
just non-playable.
Garbo.
Yeah.
I think from their perspective, they're like, we know that the people who own a Switch would love to play that game. So like they're doing what they can to make it work.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's. I mean, they took their time. They didn't just like
Yeah, they
force
didn't
it
just
on.
drop it. Yeah.
So maybe it'll be fine. It won't look pretty, but it'll be fine.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to call it. I think we're just rambling now on the Switch predictions or the Nintendo Direct predictions.
Correct.
But that's really fun. I'm excited to see what happens tomorrow. And
Yes.
we have this on record to see if we're right or wrong.
Yep.
And we can
Yeah.
kind of
And
revisit
I
on
will
the
be
next
right.
episode.
Let's do it.
Guys, I'm tired. It is
11:30.
11:22 our time right now. Do we want to try to squeeze in a little bit of dad talk before we peace out?
Love your kids. Love your wife. Peace.
Love your life.
I got something.
Let's hear it.
Let's do this real quick. Special announcement for the Dad Casual fans out there. And by I mean my wife, is gonna have another baby this year.
Whoa!
That's awesome.
That's awesome that you told us here.
That is awesome.
What?
That's exciting. Congrats, dude.
Boom! Got your video reactions.
I'm gonna hit that backtrack button.
Yeah.
That's
I for a
incredible.
second there was like, don't think he's gonna say that just in case it's something else.
So that was the and one more thing for Dad Casual.
That's the Dad Casual and one more thing.
Bro, I'm not talking about nothing about my
know, you
life. That's
can't-
awesome.
That's incredible.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Yeah, we're due on December 11th.
No wonder you've been working so much. You've been trying to save some money.
Working.
I'm so excited for you guys. That's great.
That is exciting.
We are very, very excited. I mean, with this whole thing with Josephine and her being special needs, it kind of gave us a break for a little while. And we were like, okay, let's take a pause. Let's figure out how to take care of this kid.
How's your wife? How's your wife doing?
She's awesome. She only gets sick if she's not eating. And she's actually over the first trimester now. So she's at 15 and a half weeks now.
That's so cool.
And so
That's
yeah,
awesome.
she's feeling great now. She's finally starting to show past couple weeks, and so we're gonna make an announcement publicly soon. But if this episode gets out in the next few days, I mean, the listeners that we have that listen all the way to the end may be in for a special treat. So you're welcome.
It's exciting.
Dude,
You might catch it ahead of the main social media announcement.
You so casually dropped that news.
Yeah, there you go.
It's very on brand.
I honestly almost forgot to say it. I was like, all right, we talked about it, and I was like, all right, yeah, I'm going to tell the guys tonight.
Especially the way you're like, should we even do dad talk? I mean, what is there to say? Is
there anything else to say?
I'll take my Golden Globe for that.
Oh man, that's exciting, man.
Super
I think
exciting.
I'm really excited for you. So when is she due?
December 11th.
December 11th.
You don't know what you're having yet, I'm assuming yet. Or
A
do you?
human, I hope.
Yeah, definitely human, definitely mine. We do know this time. I'll save that for next episode because we are going to announce that soon. But we didn't know for Josephine, but I almost died because of that. So I was like, we gotta find out this time.
Yeah.
So we did the 12-week genetic testing, the blood work from Kristen, and praise God, everything is fine there. So no major like chromosomal defects that we know of, or we're very low likelihood for those. We're still not out of the woods for another kid with spina bifida, which is higher likelihood for us still. But we will know more at this coming 16-week early anatomy scan.
That's
so thoughts and prayers for that, guys.
Exciting.
I'm hoping that, no matter what happens, man, I just hope that I want to see you guys have some peace, and I think it's going to be great. I'm really excited.
Right on. Well, I think that is as good of a time as any to wrap up this episode, this extended special welcome back episode of Dad Casual, episode 37. To all of our listeners, all dozen of you or so, we're getting some more now. I get some like regular comments on like, hey, like I enjoyed this episode, or when you guys going to come back? And
I did too.
So we're back, and we will try to kind of keep this ball rolling this time. But yeah, thank you so much. Go ahead and like this video, like this podcast, leave us a review, follow us on all of the social medias, leave comments, DM us, annoy us, send us emails to dadcasualpodcast@gmail.com. And we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Peace.